Yesterday, I went to look at that wheat that hasn't been drafted, and the wheat was white, and the combines were parked in the end. And they left 2 hoppers full of wheat, and I didn't take a picture. It looked like snow cones in them hoppers, and I'm just disappointed I didn't do it. I said, it was so pretty. Yeah, little snow cones up in the hopper.
Just so you all know.
To do most of the work.
Okay, Ernie.
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Do we have any additions to the agenda? Karen?
I just have, to move up the chair and vice chair appointment up to agenda now. Usually we do it at the beginning of the meeting. I know out of the last 4 years, we did it once at the end, but usually we do it at the beginning.
We just wanted to give an update on extension and the 4-H advisory council. We had that, so I wanted to give you an update on that.
Ernie?
Nothing.
Karen, or
Christie.
Okay. I guess I thought you were maybe gonna put it on, Christie, I should have checked with you, but I just wanted to make a comment that the auditor's office will be closed on, what day was it again?
Friday afternoon.
This Friday,
This Friday
afternoon.
afternoon.
This Friday afternoon, Christie did come to me and, we discussed it and so it'll be closed for the afternoon.
I don't have anything.
Wasn't there some corrections to the minutes?
Yeah. Okay, thanks. Anybody get a chance to read the minutes, or any corrections or additions?
I had 2 corrections to the minutes, on the 4th bullet underneath the highway department. It should state that there were 2 applications instead of 2 permits. And a little further down, it was on the statement about the library. It states that Commissioner Barta made the motion and Commissioner Barta seconded the motion. The correction should be Commissioner Anderson made the motion. And Barta seconded.
Any other additions or corrections? We have a motion for the consent agenda with the corrected additions or additional additions, corrected additions on the
So moved.
corrected ones. What's the term, Todd?
Corrected.
Thank you. We have a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Employee time, don't see anybody here. That means you're out.
All right.
Can we do elections?
What?
Can we do chairman elections
Oh,
next?
you want to do that
That's
right away?
It should be done at the beginning. We
done
used
at
to do it
the beginning, actually, and the auditor usually does it.
So I am asking for a motion for the chair.
I nominate Christie. You're vice chair right now, right?
In light of it potentially being her last year and request I nominate Karen.
So we have to have a vote.
He's got it.
Okay, so we'll do a vote then?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Karen?
Who are we voting?
So,
Yeah.
Let's have some, can we have some discussion on this? before we go?
Yeah, I can.
yeah,
Yeah. I guess I was giving some thought to this too. Are you two gonna, or can I ask that? Are you guys gonna run again?
Well, I said,
No?
last year that I wasn't planning on running, so. And last year I should have been chairman, but you guys thought
No,
I
I should
couldn't
have been,
be,
I should have been. When I got beat out, then,
then I was
no,
next.
then she became vice chairman.
Well, we're not, we don't go by vice chairman, that doesn't
Well,
always work.
But we used to go by a rotation.
Right,
Yeah.
and it was my turn last year, but since I became legislator and you guys didn't think I could be chairman, then I was bumped off. And I don't know that that's fair, just because I became a legislator, that I don't get another chance to be chairman.
And I just was thinking, you know, Karen was chair and Christie was vice chair, and then I do kind of like the idea of a rotation, so everyone has the opportunity. Because eventually I would like to do it too, but not for 3-4, I mean, I would like to watch other chairs, and with Karen not planning on running or, next year, that would be for me an ideal, that I would have an opportunity for Karen to be chair for a year, and then my vision would be then Christie would step in after that, but.
You get a chance to see 2 chairs before you.
Well, or,
Yeah.
then I'd be good with vice chair or whatever, but
Usually the new one that since I've been here is like 3 or 4th year.
Yeah.
At least
Yeah,
the
when
You
fourth-
wanna have a
at
little
least
bit
the
of experience
fourth
before you.
yeah, absolutely.
Something never happened since I've been here.
Well, I get to thinking about you 2 are gonna be up for election. And we could end up with 2 new.
You could end up with 3 new, because Ernie will be on, I mean, that seat would be there
Yeah,
too,
you're up,
so.
right.
Right, yeah, I won't be running. I already stated that and I won't go against what I said, so. That's why I was hoping to be chairman from the last year,
Christie, I mean,
being I didn't get to do it last year. So,
Do I have anything?
Yeah.
I say that we elect the chairman, we think should be the chairman. As far as if I'm going to run again or not, I'm not going to announce this at this point. I haven't held the chairman position yet, but I don't feel that. How should I put this? I don't feel that it's a more important job than the next. I mean, the chairman conducts the meetings. Yes, they have some additional responsibilities, but if it's that important to you, Karen, I'm fine with either. It does not mean that I'm gonna be chairman next year, though. I hope everybody realizes that, because I have to agree to run for election and I have to be elected.
Yeah.
You
Well, I
know,
hope
so
that
it's very
both are yes.
possible, but it's very possible that I won't be here as well, so I'm not going to sit here and think that I'm an automatic in, absolutely not.
I didn't realize you were.
well, I for sure am not,
Yeah,
so.
I haven't given him a shot yet. We got till when, in February, March?
Please, Denny.
Yeah.
We might be solo over.
I'm leaning to the morning, but I haven't decided yet.
Let's take the vote.
The vote,
Ask for any further discussion,
Any
yes.
further discussion?
I'm going to not step down, but that's fine.
You wanna take your name off
Take
there?
my name off the voting.
you're gonna withdraw from English. Okay.
So Karen is the only one that we're
I guess so.
voting on, okay? Can I get a vote, Karen?
Yes,
Amy? Amy?
Yes.
Ernie?
Yes.
Christie?
Yeah.
Okay, so Karen is the new chair.
Immediately?
Yep.
Yep.
After all the other elections, you got vice chair.
Okay, yep, and then how about for the vice chair?
can I nominate Christie? Yeah. Of course. I'll nominate Christie for now as vice chair.
You don't know if you'll be here or not, like I said, you don't.
Right.
But we didn't know.
Yeah, but you still have to have a vice chair.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? Call for the vote, Christie?
Yeah.
Ernie?
You don't have to vote.
I know.
Did I vote no? Yes.
Jenny?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
And Karen?
Yes.
Okay, so Christie will be the vice chair for 2024. And now am I done running, or running the meeting? Yeah, perfect.
So.
Yeah, let's just change chairs, I guess, or I can
Do
sit
it there and change later.
Yeah, I can sit here.
I got my food in front of me.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
and
we'll,
you're missing us.
we'll move on. Are you here for employee time at all? Okay, then Sherry will have you come up.
So I have the third quarter, commission report for you. You should have it. Christie sent it to you. I don't know if you want to grab it or if I should just go ahead.
Just go ahead.
Okay, so our beginning balance on July first was 22,528,419.45. In the third quarter, we had total receipts of 2,166,000.
Can I stop you a minute?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I do not.
November 30th.
Up on the very top.
Oh, we gotta go back into the county stuff, not an email.
Oh, yeah, right.
But it's November 30th in the email if you're wanting it from.
I'm in the
Same
team thing.
And then it's under third quarter commission report. Very top, Christie.
This had to go all the way back in there. It is. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. So the receipts for July through September of 23 was $2,166,52.93. The disbursements for that same time period was $7,363,107.47, leaving us our ending balance at the end of September of $17,331,364.91. And then I had a comparison to the same period the year prior. So there was an increase of 2.3 million, which I'll kind of talk about in the next two sections. So for the receipts, showing the non-tax receipts for 23, 1.8 million versus the 2.3 from the year before, which was a decrease of $500,000. And so the money that was in 2022, there was a spring flood. And that was 102,000 of that 2022 figure. And there was, the American Rescue Plan, we got money in September of 2022 of 1,33,445,000, so that made up, I mean, that's really why it looks so more in the year before, basically. And then tax receipts are pretty much very similar. Then in the disbursements, section, we had, an increase of disbursements of over $4 million, but the bulk of that, in August of 2023, we paid like Mayo Construction over $3 million for some big road job. I don't even know what the job was, but so that's why August disbursements are so huge, because of a big payout for a road job or whatever it was. So
Wasn't that resurfacing the road, I think?
yeah, I guess I'm not sure what the job was. I just see the expense.
It was mail, it's.
Any questions for Sherry?
I was gonna add, I'm sorry, in July of 2023, the non-tax revenue, that $1 million, why that's so large. There was spring flood money, 2022 spring flood money of 383,000. And then also snow emergency money. We had that big snow, the Senate Bill 2183 was $109,041. So that's why that million looks so big in July of 2023 for receipts. So. And that's that, I guess.
Okay, any questions for Sherry?
So, okay.
Can I have a motion to approve the third quarter financials?
Oh,
Second. Any more discussion?
I do have one question. Do we know what portion of this is truly accessible to us if we need funds for something?
Yeah, I mean, I can,
Would you be able
I
to
mean,
get that?
most of it is really, I mean, we have some money tied up in CDs
CDs.
and bond,
Right, which has done really well, right?
Yes,
I mean,
yes,
that was
but I
a
mean-
very good move.
a lot of this is accessible.
Okay, okay. I just didn't know if there was just like a certain percentage or what percent we're looking at that is accessible.
No,
Because we have some big projects coming up, so I guess that's why I'd like to
yeah,
know.
and I mean, if I know ahead of time, I can be taking money out of CDs and not locking it in there, so be sure to tell me ahead of time. If you want
Sometimes
to do
it,
that.
you know, as you get a quarter treasury report, we used to get a listing like what banks had what kind of money and now the CD, and maybe that'd be more beneficial too, when you give us this. Like if we got 400,000 at Bremer or whatever,
Okay,
then it sort of explains to us where our money is.
sure,
To include it, yeah, in our
Okay.
news report,
I'll write it out to do that.
investments.
It gives us a better overall picture.
Yeah, of course, that makes sense.
Okay, any more discussion? Hearing none, I'll take the roll. Christie?
Yes,
Ernie?
Yes.
Danny?
Yes.
Amy? Yes. Myself, yes. Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We will have Ed come up. I'm sorry, Ed, you were on the, not.
Good morning.
yeah,
Got one abatement application today to address, from Brad and Amy Carroll. For the 2022 and 2023 tax years, the parcel actually in the city limits of Forest River, south side of town. The house on this property, they feel qualifies for a farm residence exemption as a vacant farm residence. Back in 2022, I sent out an application for this farm residence exemption because it had previously been receiving the exemption, and Mr. Carroll did not submit the application to our office. So for the 2022 tax year, a structure value of $15,470 was added to the tax roll. Mr. Carroll has now come in recently and submitted a farm residence application, farm residence exemption application, stating that it was vacant for many years and was last occupied by a retired farmer. The city of Forest River did confirm these facts, and they did approve this abatement to remove the structure value back off of there. So I'll recommend that they should also approve a motion to reduce the value of this parcel to just a land value of $2,530 for the 2022 and 2023 tax years.
so moved.
We have a second.
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? Did they just forget to apply? Is
I
that
think he misplaced the application, and
typical?
it's hard to get some of these guys to submit the form.
Okay, any more discussion? Hearing none, Christie?
Yes,
Ernie?
Yes.
Danny?
Yes.
Amy? Yes. Myself? Yes. No, motion approved. Great,
Right.
anything else? Yeah.
I'm just gonna mention that, I don't think I've been here since, with the help of April Vaughn and, off the ground, we were able to collect 100% of our mobile home taxes again in 23. Ended up not having to be a sheriff's sale again for, I think, the 4th year in a row, so
nice job.
thank you to them. And we will be sending out the mobile home tax bills in January for next year already.
Well, thank you guys, yeah.
That's
Very
all.
nice job.
Thank you.
Please pass that along to
Yeah.
them as well.
Yeah.
Erin, I was just gonna, is there any, have we gotten any more information, Ed, on what's coming in January, from the state, any more direction on what's?
Just that, still all we know is that there's gonna be an online application period from January 1st to March 31st. And they're in the process of getting a data file from us. Owners, parcels, physical addresses that we have. There are a lot of physical addresses we do not have. We go by parcel number and legal description for a lot of things. So, if they come back, the state comes to us trying to verify what people's physical addresses are. It may be, that's gonna be some work involved on our end, I'm sure. I actually just talked with the city of Park River this morning to get that list from them before the end of the year. Because that's the biggest jurisdiction that we don't have a good address database for. City of Grafton, we've got a good one. Minto, we've got a good one. Out in the outskirts, I've been working on that diligently the last few years. Not saying we have all of them. So city of Park River is the last bigger city. But as far as anything else that may fall in our lap, we'll take it as it comes. I know there's gonna be people wanting help filling that out or being pointed in the right direction to the website. But we'll deal with it as it comes, I guess.
Hey, Ernie.
So you've been here 5 years. How's it going? I can't believe we hired you 5 years ago. It's gone that fast.
I know.
That makes both of us.
Yeah.
I think it's going well. I mean, I think we've made great progress on some things. There's still a lot of things I would like to get done and keep working towards, so.
Keep up the good work.
I think we're headed in the right direction.
Absolutely, yeah.
Question I have, all these township assessors, are we losing more and more of them all the time?
Yes, we're down to a handful now.
Yeah.
There's one this year that is scaling back. He's only doing 3, I think, total compared to 64. So I think there were 3 jurisdictions that a different local assessor picked up 2 of them. But so far there's 1 more coming through our office. So we're up to 31 jurisdictions through our office now, which I don't have a problem with, because at least we know they're being handled the same.
Uniformity.
Yes,
Yeah, that's a big thing.
so, but yes, there are going to be less and less, and I anticipate that.
Along with that, I think we're gonna get more and more questions as to why it's done this way.
Right.
Are you hearing anything from the state on land evaluation?
Nothing yet. Should hear that here. within
That's gonna be
next week.
scary with the price of land going up like it is. I'm afraid
Now, it's that 7-year Olympic average,
Yeah.
so there's a little cushion there, but
it's gonna go up.
We're not even keeping up with inflation, though, we're going.
Yeah.
I anticipate ag land will probably be going up. I don't know that for sure. Residential valuations is not gonna be free. We are about 15 to 25% behind the market again.
That gets adjusted every year.
Residential is every year.
Every year.
Yeah. Right now, our sales ratio is in the low 80s, I believe, which means we're gonna have to have at least a 10% increase countywide, most likely.
But there's such a disparity between residential property and ag land.
Yeah,
I mean,
but those are valued by different.
Yeah.
values.
I know, but I mean, ag land valued at a little over $1,000 an acre.
Yeah.
And the cheapest land sale that was like 3 or 4.
Right. Yeah, that's,
You mean between that, not like residential town?
Right, but I'm just saying that,
no, ag land is not valued at market value.
no,
Thank God.
Yeah.
well, I know, but I mean, it's. The residents
Mhm.
are
See it,
starting,
yeah.
yeah, they see it.
Yes,
Why,
they do.
why am I paying more when
Right,
ag land isn't?
yeah, but then the rebuttal to that is I think ag land pays, what, 70% of our property taxes in Walsh County?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only that, they don't get the water, the highways or anything else like the cities do. So there's the arguments both ways.
Yes, but they get other things also,
Right.
so.
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna have their own thoughts on that.
Yeah, there's,
You know, it's sad to say locally though, but when you look at ag land and if the state evaluates it higher or else residential by sales, there's not much you as a tax director can really, you follow.
No.
I just hope people realize that, you know, sometimes your hands are tied, whether we like it or not.
Yeah, we have to follow our guidelines and then ultimately then taxing jurisdictions take those values and do their budgets accordingly, so.
And everybody, you know, they don't wanna pay taxes now, none of us do, I don't wanna pay more taxes on my house, but if something happened where I would have to sell my residence next year, I'm glad that it's valued at what it's valued, you know?
Yeah.
So, any more questions for Ed?
Good.
That's-
Thank
Thank
you.
you too.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you, Ed.
congrats on 5 years of service.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so next on our agenda is the Grand Forks County Correctional Agreement. Ron couldn't be here to present this. But it's just an agreement where, they would be housing our prisoners if need be. And, did everybody get a chance to read the agreement?
Right, but they wouldn't be housing all of them.
No,
Just what. we
Just
need.
whatever.
I
we
just
need.
wanted to clarify that.
Yes.
If somebody's listening to that, they might
Yep.
think our jail's closing.
Yeah, and I don't
On
even,
an as needed basis.
it's on as needed, and I don't even know how often they've been doing it, because they're so full
I
too.
talked to Ron this morning and he said no, but he said we have to have this in place in case we lose.
Yep,
So this is more just a formality. that-
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
yep,
I guess my question on it was, it's at $102.50 a day.
mhm.
Has that increased from last year? I don't know. I don't remember what the rate was last year, but I feel like it was,
I want to say like 90 or.
I was gonna say $89 for some reason is sticking in my head, so I'm just wondering if this.
I wouldn't doubt that it was less there, because it says in number 10, all rates provided here are subject to a 2.5 annual rate increase. So I bet it's been increase, it's inflation or whatever, so.
Make a motion, we accept the contract.
Wait, you're a second,
I'll second.
any more discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Amy? Yes. Denny?
Yes.
Ernie?
Yes.
Christie? Yes. Myself, yes, opposed, okay, motion carried. Set, well, we're ahead of schedule and our 10 o'clock is here, so we're gonna go ahead with you, Herb, and you can come up and sit in the chair and.
Alrighty, I'm back. Oh, okay. I wanted to let you know what I.
I would just like to say I appreciate your involvement. I do.
Well, it's important to me. I mean,
You can tell her.
realize I'm taking off from work, all these meetings.
That's a nice citizen involvement.
Yep.
Drove in the fog this morning.
Yes. Did you guys have it in Fortville, like that far west too?
No, we didn't have.
We
one.
had it last night,
It was,
but
you know,
yesterday was.
I'm one shot, I'll give you mine when I'm done.
That's pretty out.
I mean, we didn't have it this morning, so the trees weren't.
It seems like it's getting worse. It's not bad in town at all, but you get outside,
Oh.
it's getting bad. Yeah.
Yep.
So anyway, so I appreciate again, you hearing this. I know you're probably getting tired of it, but so am I, so. Hopefully we can get something done. The last time I was here, we talked about this is regarding the property, investigative and Sam's property. We talked about fire inspection and fire safety. That he's in court for public nuisance and public safety and hazards. We all know that there's been a precedent set in Nash that these things do catch fire. And the way I understand, when the fire department arrived, it was in such bad shape, they couldn't even get to the place to put out the fire, so. In Wesleyville, we have a situation where we have this junkyard here right in the city. Or I don't call it a city, the town of Wesleyville, village, whatever you wanna call it. If that thing went up, and we had a northwest wind, which we never get northwest winds in North Dakota.
Prevailing wind.
Yeah, right.
The only.
If we had a northwest wind, it could probably wipe out the whole village. I mean, realistically. Cause it's that close. I don't know what he has in his building. And by the way, he continues to bring stuff in. We have right now 3 vehicles and a skid steer out in the park right in front again in the public access.
In the right of way.
Yeah.
Really?
The one car has been there for about 2 weeks now, maybe 3 weeks, got a flat tire, doesn't look like it's going anywhere. We brought an old pickup in just 2 weeks ago with all loaded in the back of stuff, and that's not went anywhere. Got a truck in there again, that hasn't went anywhere, and now we've got the skid steer in there. But I mean, it's getting so that it's getting piled up again right in front of the door. But with the fire situation, I think now is the time to get on this because he's in the court system now. When I did talk to the state fire marshal, I called him and I spoke with him. I gave you the number here and his name. I spoke with him on November 22nd. And he suggested that the Walsh County Commissioners speak to the fire chief and request an inspection be made of the property. He was very much adamant though that such an inspection would have to be done at the owner's consent. He said if the property is zoned for commercial, there's a greater vetted interest in having the property inspected. We don't know that. I talked with Aggie Sanders. She's really up in her zoning stuff and she felt that anything with outside the municipality is actually zoned agricultural. But she doesn't know if anything, she didn't know where to get access to those records to see what is actually zoned as. The fire marshal said that if he does not give consent, being that it's in the court system now, that another avenue would be to request an administrative warrant through the court. That would have to be done with the working of between the commission, the fire chief, and he said at that point the state fire marshal would have to be involved. That would be if he does not consent to the inspection, well then, why isn't he consenting to the inspection? It's probably because he knows it's not going to ever pass inspection. And if at that time, the fire chief and you folks believe that there is an imminent threat to the community, you can at that point go further and work with your fire chief and the state marshal for an administrative warrant. I really have a concern. I have no idea what he's bringing into the place. For all I know, he could have gunpowder and ammunition. I know that he bought at an auction sale that I was at right next door, ammunition and munitions and stuff like that. I don't know where they went. I would assume it's right next door, so it's probably went right into the building right next door. I can't say that for sure. I've been in the property once at his invitation when we first started this, and I talked to him. It was such a mess in there that he couldn't really walk around, so I don't know where anything is. I mean, he could have propane tanks in there. He could have anything in there. We don't know what he's got in there. He comes in the middle of the night, brings stuff in. That's the kind of guy he is. So I would request that you would request a fire inspection.
Who is our local fire chief?
Well, it'd be whoever district.
Whatever the district is.
What?
I wonder if that
Oh,
is Minto.
It would be out there, that's
Yeah.
right.
I wonder if
Minto
they-
or Park River?
I wonder if Vestibule, don't quote me, but I wonder, I know the farm and Weaver and Minto, so I
Okay,
don't know if Vestibule is or not.
okay.
Aggie gave me a name here.
Mark Wilson, or he's not fire chief in Minto
No.
anymore, is he?
Just a second, let me see what she gave me a name one time.
Did we not talk about that was once we thought it was commercial because it was a meat shop or a?
If you never change it, because the Vestibule store.
Why would it be changed? It would take a lot to change, right? So we would.
Well, I'm
shift
not
that.
quite sure if you bought it and ignored it for years, he would have changed it.
So I did reach out to Luther about it, and everything is ag in Walsh County, including that property.
Okay.
As well as, I know the last meeting, we talked about permits regarding having a business and that, and there is no known business permit that is required at the county level. The only permits that the county gives is the liquor licenses and then building permits for residential properties. But we do not require a permit for businesses either. And that's as far back as Luther could think, as well as I talked to Ed about it. And had a conversation on it, so as of right now, there's no
It was liquor and what?
building, residential building permits. Yeah, those are the only two that
Okay,
Well, he brought in, I don't know if he's living there. He comes, I think he lives there part of the time. He stays the night sometimes.
Mhm.
He brought in a container that he attached to the,
Building?
the building. Now, I don't know what that is. Is that his private residence that he's going to live in there for the winter? I mean, he's setting up, it looks like residential, accommodations. Can he do that? Can he just bring containers in and start adding on to the?
His property.
if it's his property, that's what I think that's the first thing we have to find out. Did you have a name? that
Yeah,
you gave me?
she gave me a name, Brad Martinson,
Oh,
is the local fire chief.
That's what he's the
That's
drafted,
drafted one.
yeah,
Okay,
I can
I
reach
think
out.
first thing you gotta do is find out what district it is.
Yeah,
And you go for there. And like I said, I don't know,
I can follow through with that.
Isn't the court ruling on this in the 5th of January?
but January,
Oh, I
yeah.
can't remember.
January 11th, I think.
11th?
I would-
Yeah.
Yeah, that was on our last.
There's been some boxes, like I know, when you talk about fire, the stuff that he's bringing in is.
It's very-
It's valid, I mean.
It's very flammable. I mean, it's,
With those vehicles in the right of way again, they should be removed right away.
They're tucked right in, I drove through yesterday, they're tucked pretty close to the store, so are they in the right of way or whatever?
oh, they're definitely in the right of way.
But the trouble is, there's no right of way investigable, because.
Yeah, but I mean, there's such a thing, I mean, we had to remove our vehicles from the right of way when we got the letter, so are we gonna just allow him to?
Yeah.
But are the trees and everything removed? Right of way is right of way, and that's the stickler here, you gotta remember that.
But,
And I don't like it there either, but if we have him move that, he's gonna come after you guys and say, okay, get those trees out of here, get everything else. Half of those guys invested, well, you're gonna lose your front lawn or your lawn ornament and everything else, and you gotta remember, it's part of
That
this.
would be grandfathered in though, I mean.
I don't know.
I would think our houses would be grandfathered. in.
Well, your houses are on the right of way, but most of your trees and stuff aren't.
I just don't agree with that respectfully,
Well-
because he's creating a hazard,
I
there,
get
an
that.
undue hazard.
Where do you define, and I'm being a devil advocate, I know where you're coming from and I'm on your side, but if we go in there and fight it. What defines right away investing on?
Okay, what happens when someone gets in an accident, gets killed at that corner?
Just that,
No, who's responsible?
well, I get that, I don't want it
The
here.
county's gonna be responsible because you guys are well aware that there's a hazard there. It's been told to you numerous times.
Okay, is it,
And nothing's being done.
I'm
Now,
coming,
there's a difference, I think, there. I mean, if there's a vetted interest that there's a hazard there, something should be done.
okay, I'm coming down that dirt road on the east block by the Hanson house, I used to call it, and I'm coming back to the highway. Those trees that are in the right of way, are they not hazard? They're blocking the view, and that's my point, I totally get what you, and I don't like this, but there's no defined right of way there, and there's things, if you wanna go 66 feet, how much stuff does Dusty goes in the right of way?
So we can all park our vehicles on the road and we'll get
No,
letters,
told-
we'll get letters to move ours and he'll just be allowed to do whatever he wants.
I would, if you're gonna go right away, then you gotta do it the same to everybody, and I get your point, okay, if 66 feet is the right of way on his, why is it on yours?
Let's just stop for a minute. I think our best bet is to go with the fire marshal and do
Yes,
this,
yes.
because
You know,
we can have a move and he'll keep bringing it in.
Yep.
But if there's a hazard there and even a health thing, which that's coming up in the courts, maybe something can be done about that.
Just let the courts handle it,
Yeah.
and see what happens.
I will follow through with contacting whoever the local fire chief is for there and request an inspection. Maybe I can get somebody else to go with me, and, I mean, I can go over there and, cause I have not been over there, talking to him. Just kind of been staying away and do it that way, go there with the local fire chief, if he doesn't agree to that, then we'll go further. And I'll try and, get going with that this week if I can,
that would be great.
yeah.
And I will say from living there and driving south from Veselyville, I've never come across a concern right away wise driving south through Veselyville ever. And I've lived there 20+ years
Yeah.
now. I just heading north, so coming back from Grand Forks, going through Veselyville, right at that corner, twice. I have had someone and I have had to stop because they have not. So I understand that part of it, but at the same point, this is a different situation that has definitely, and with the amount of farm equipment and whatever else, and that not being, our township roads are not something that we you kind of have to drive defensively, right? Because you don't
You
know. This is 100% a much higher concern for me for an accident.
Christie.
I'd just like to say, I appreciate your concern. I think the difference between junk and trees,
Yeah.
I get what you're saying about radar, but the difference between junk and trees is getting a little out of context, I feel.
Yeah.
I do feel the responsibility goes back to our planning and zoning, and I brought it up the other day when Kelly Cole was in here, and she said she did not have time to rewrite planning and zoning. But I would like to see if JR could,
Okay,
because I think it is our responsibility as leaders in this community and the planning and zoning, we need to get something in writing to put a stop to this, because we're seeing what's happening with him.
Yes.
He jumped from Nash
yeah,
to Veselyville, we get him out of Veselyville, he's just gonna pop up somewhere else in our county, so if we don't get some meat to this, it's not going to stop. So I appreciate all the work you have done, and I think we need to do our part, and we need to get our planning and zoning updated.
And I appreciate the work that you're doing and hearing me. I mean, I don't want to be belligerent, but I'm just trying to like. That, you know, there's concerns here, and I appreciate, you know, I'm glad there's some people that actually live in the area that actually see what's going on. And he's making no attempts to clean up anything.
That's the sad part.
well,
He's
and
just bringing more stuff in. He's got a big dumpster there and it's empty. There's nothing in there. So
The first time we moved that equipment, we sent a bill, and I don't think he's paid it yet either. So, yeah.
that's the kind of guy he is.
And that dumpster, I was hopeful. It's been
I was too.
months.
But he's just got it there for decoration purposes, just so that he can say that he's making an attempt, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But again, that dumpster's in the right of way too. I mean, if you wanna get technical, and it's blocking the view.
well, the view is what can really
Yeah.
be, like, if Amy says she's coming and going north. I mean, and you could say, well, maybe we should put a stop sign there. Well, why should we put a stop sign up there so he can just put more junk?
Oh, I think,
And then you gotta creep through to see if
Yeah.
somebody's coming?
but I think there is a stop
There's a
sign
stop
heading
sign.
east and west
There
there, but
is.
say, but you can't guarantee on a township
You-
road that someone is going to stop, so if
Yes.
you can't see them.
Yep,
And the thing of it
That's-
is, during the agricultural season,
Yeah.
the harvest,
Mhm.
how many trucks actually stop at that stop sign? They don't.
Which
They
is
come and they slow down and then they creep onto the road.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
if you can't see what's coming down the road.
Yeah.
Right.
there's nothing worse
You're,
than
you're,
trying to,
and there almost was an accident
Yep,
there. I
that's what you
witnessed it.
mentioned.
And so, I
Well-
mean, why wait until somebody gets
Yeah.
killed?
Yeah.
And then come back again and say, well, I wish we would have done something.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming into, like you said, that you're keeping up on this kind of for us, because, you're there. I will reach out to the fire chief and I will talk to JR about planning and zoning to see if he can start working on that.
Okay,
And
great.
if you need anyone to go with you
Yeah.
for out there, Karen, I would.
Yeah,
let me know.
I would like to try and do that this week, so there's some, because you never know, the weather's been so nice.
Yeah,
But you never know, we could get overnight, a
Yeah.
foot of snow,
Yeah.
and then it's a mess.
Yeah. and that's again, if he
Yeah.
really wanted to
Right.
do what the court tells him, he's got super weather here.
Yeah,
I mean, there's no excuse that he can't be cleaning things up.
it's,
So I'm asking to hear what excuse he's gonna give to the
Yeah.
court when it comes to the
Right.
court.
Yeah.
Because he's got none. I mean, the weather's been great, but he's making no attempt to do it.
exactly. Well, like I said,
Thank
thank you for coming in and, keep us, we don't mind getting texts or calls or emails,
Thank you.
because we can't be out there all the time,
Right, right.
so we do appreciate you coming.
And I appreciate Karen's been my communication person. I appreciate you being
Yeah.
patient.
Yeah, no problem at all. I probably wouldn't have as much patience if I lived in this village.
Thank you again.
Thanks.
Yes.
Have a
thanks for
good day.
coming in.
Thank you.
You too. Okay, let's move on to,
Shoot, Cameron,
yes,
if you get a hold of JR and he does something, have him get a hold of Denny or.
Okay.
Planning and zoning, so we know
yeah,
what's going on.
okay,
We've been sort of waiting, but nothing's been happening, so.
Well, we've got that gravel pit stuff too that we can address.
Yeah,
That's
it'd be nice to have one meeting all at once. and-
Yeah.
yeah, maybe he can even be at it, so, okay, have you guys been working on setting up a meeting?
I did reach out to Luther on
Uh-huh.
dates for December and December's a busy month, so he did send a bunch of dates that would not work. So I don't know if we wait until, get it scheduled for the very beginning of January. Well, that's only a month out.
So no December meeting.
I think we should wait to see if JR and them can come up with something, then,
Okay.
that's the main reason we were gonna have a meeting, was either that or now these gravel pits showed up.
Yeah.
It's no sense having a meeting if we don't have anything that says we can do something. And they were gonna look into it, so.
Okay, I'll tell you that.
But I could throw around a few dates beginning
Yeah,
of January.
yeah, why don't
Get
you?
it started.
Commit to it, JR, as soon as he can get us something, we can look at it.
Perfect.
Okay, we will move on to unfinished business. Tanya, you're here for the ARPA update, okay?
Good morning.
Good morning, Tanya.
So, we did confirm ARPA funds are available to use for overtime payments. There, those of you, that were here through the COVID stuff would remember that at first they came out with a lot of restrictions, and then as time went on, they loosened it up more and more and more. So we have confirmation from a state official as well. I was pretty confident looking at it, but it's a lot of very wordy language. So I wanted confirmation from someone else, and we got that. So, I did try to look back to get an idea of what is an appropriate guideline or, to follow in terms of what is appropriate to pay out. And it's difficult because until we put the Tyler system into place, our staff was not filling out time cards. And so I don't have anything to look back on as to what is the standard hours that somebody puts in the auditor position. In the year following up, in the year leading up to Chris's retirement, there was some other stuff going on in her office as well, that she was putting in additional hours. So I think she was putting in probably close to 50 hours a week, a lot of those weeks, but I think that had changed, like the norm had evolved, prior to that, I don't think it was that. So it becomes difficult to know. I believe at the last meeting, you talked about the 75%. The first 25% would be just part of being a department head. And then above that maybe, and that might be a good rule. I think that's the best thing to start with. I don't know what else to use as a benchmark, like what's appropriate. I guess if the commission is comfortable with it, I would monitor that really closely. And if I feel like it's ever out of line, I would certainly bring that back or talk about it further, because I shared with Christy, this was kind of I thank you, Christy, for bringing it up at the last meeting. Christy is going so far above and beyond, and I think it's time we do something about it. I feel really strongly about that. There's so much extra stuff going on in that office right now that is not part of just becoming a new auditor, right? And we are saving money, a lot of money, by having her do so much work. A lot of what she's doing is something that an accountant would have to be doing for us. And we do have an accountant on board helping us and guiding us, but Christy's doing all the legwork. She's doing all the dirty work essentially. And so we're saving a lot of funds in that respect because she's doing it all for us. And so I just feel like I can't watch her continue to burn herself out without doing something about it. I feel strongly about that. And I don't think I've ever come to you guys before with that kind of request. This is a very, very unique situation. And anytime we're looking at this, I want to be comfortable with it and confident, because a lot of times I have to answer, right, to the other department heads that maybe might get upset about it. But I don't know anyone who's in this county sees how much Chrissy is putting in right now. So I think that 75-25 might be a good rule right now. What I had shared with Brittany is that I believe that this should stay in place while all this extra work is still going on, right? It isn't an indefinite thing. Are there times throughout the course of an auditor's career where you're going to put in a lot of hours? Yes, that's just part of the job, right? But it's supposed to be an ebb and flow situation, and it's just a lot right now, constant. There's no break. Christy shared with me that she worked every single day in November. And for a period of 91 days going back, so September, October, November, she took 7 days off. That's it. That's a recipe for burnout. Yeah, it's not sustainable at all. And so we have to do something to attempt to recognize all the effort she's putting forth. And all this extra work with reconciling accounts with the Tyler conversion is, I think, the root of a lot of the extra hours that she's putting in. So this is a temporary solution, right? This will settle, the dust will settle, we'll have systems in place that are working well, yes.
Yes,
And I, from talking to Christy too, like knowing you want things done. I mean, we know how like type A you are, that this is your kind of way to introduce so that things eventually you're able to delegate and use your staff the way that you want. But I mean, we are so grateful for what you are doing and 100% if we can give you a little plushier Christmas or whatever that means for you, get to take a vacation when things settle down. I mean, I fully agree and appreciate you bringing it to us, Tanya, because we have a gem here, that's for sure.
Not sure.
yes.
Is it getting better?
We're deep into it still. We're doing the audit of the payroll. I mean, every projects are getting done. It's just as we dig in, we get further. So that payroll audit is taking a lot of time. We've got 5 months worth, because I had to start in July, well, actually June I started. So I'm almost done with all of the deductions, verifying that the deductions were handled right. From there, I will go to Kim and find out how we need to proceed from there. So that's the biggest piece that I have to get done.
Did we bring in outside help?
Kim,
Have we been using it?
I just met with her the one time. She's more helping just
kind of an advisory role, I feel like. I don't think she has the manpower right now to dedicate the hours like Christy is. I am working, I've set up an account with the UND system, and so I'm in the process of getting a job posted, just a temporary accounting intern. Because I feel like that's somebody who would have the skill set that we need for Christy to be able to delegate some of this work, but we have to be able to know that that person is capable and knows what they're doing. So I'm working with UND right now. They have a full job board system, and so I had to get approved and get set up with an account and all that, and that's in the works. I've got the job description written. Christy, I just need to review it with Christy. I haven't even sent it to her yet, but I'm working through that to hopefully lighten her load a little bit.
Was that be like an internship?
Yeah, yep.
And then by month or how you set up?
Yeah, it would be as long as we wanted. They don't have parameters. Like, I thought there would be like, I can choose to call it just a part-time job or an internship, like when I'm setting it up. And I was like, well, what do they define as an internship, right? Like, does this meet the definition of an internship? I don't, and they don't have very well-defined parameters. So I think what it would, ideally, it'd be great to just have, I was thinking an internship through this next semester, right? And I feel like that would ease the burden while we need it right now and see how that goes. And I think some of the work could be done remotely. I don't know that for sure, but Christy would be kind of overseeing that, but perhaps it could be still in Grand Forks doing some of the, the dirty work. Sure. The actual punching numbers in Excel and that kind of stuff. So
Christy, you had a question?
No, I'd like to make a motion that we, pay overtime to our auditor, to Christy, out of the ARPA funds. And I would like it to be based on 75% of her time.
Second.
Any more discussion?
Do we have an idea how much that would be?
I haven't crunched the numbers because I was trying to find a benchmark, like I said, and I didn't get that. It doesn't exist, I guess. Of the last 90 days, Christy's averaging 60+ hours. So, we could do the math there, I guess, but, that's, yeah.
Are you referring to straight pay or?
Overtime pay. We're required to pay. Well, I think they're required, but it's.
Right, in this situation, we would, yeah.
Time and a half.
Yes, yeah.
That's what I was wondering.
Great clarification question, but yes.
So if she puts in a 60-hour week, we would pay on 15 hours, right? Because 20 hours would be overtime, 75% of that would be 15 hours.
Yep. Yes.
Okay, any more discussion?
And I do want to say, last Wednesday, I met with that gentleman from payroll again. So this is what I'm up against. I think that I'm getting closer and closer. And then after he's looking at it, he saw that there's a module, a reconciliation module within Tyler that isn't done. So in order to get my stuff done and the GL done, that has to get done. So that's the next step, is that. So then I have to go through every single deposit, every single check, and pretty much reconcile the GL to our bank. So that was something that a week ago, wasn't even on my radar, so, and, you know, with Christmas coming up, and end of year, he doesn't have a lot of open hours, available, but he's gonna keep checking in, I mean, it is that involved, that even the guys from Tyler are checking in and making sure that I'm not hung up with anything, so, I promise you guys, I am putting in what I have to, nothing extra,
We don't doubt that.
appreciate the.
So then would there be any possible way we could speed up getting the UMD?
I would love to see if they can come on over break, you know,
Yeah.
like, cause they're all.
Yeah, because
they have
pretty
them on
soon,
off, you know, like,
next week, they're on break.
yeah, so I would love it if somebody could start on break,
Yeah.
that would be my goal, so, yeah.
So, me and we're talking about that, is that gonna be paid out of the auditor budget then instead of ARPA?
Yeah, that's,
Cause we've got extra salary because we don't have one,
yeah.
just make it so we know where it's coming from.
I assumed that would come out of the
Okay.
auditor's budget, but yeah, we didn't discuss that, but I assumed, you know, for
There
ARPA
should be
funds.
money there.
Yeah, there absolutely is money there.
Yeah.
For the ARPA funds, we have a report every purpose that we use that for, and so, and this is an allowed expense for it, but I would say just take it out of the auditor budget, yeah.
Okay,
So should we have a motion for that, just so we have it on the
I
record?
will move to, I will move to hire
We've got a motion on the floor right now.
Oh, I'm sorry, we're talking so much.
I know, yeah.
Our motion is to pay, yes, the 75% of overtime. Any more discussion on that?
Any rough idea how many hours we're talking?
Well, if you average 60 hours a week,
That's
right, like, let's.
I'm not gonna hold you to anything.
No, but let me just see if I can do some quick math for you, okay?
I think.
I need a calculator, so.
80 hours for 3 months would be 240 hours. If that's what you said was 3 months.
180 of that would be 75%, right?
Yep.
That's like a very rough calculation, averaging
Yeah,
60
yeah,
hours a week, right? Yep, so 180 hours in the past 3 months. And I guess to clarify, when does this take effect?
When it started, or I'm concerned.
You mean to take effect like paying or?
Correct, like, do I go back and look at these
Yeah.
time cards, all these hours, right? I mean, I just,
I feel like we're paying her for the additional work with Tyler, right?
Yeah.
And the payroll, because that's all over and above and beyond the auditor duties right now. Do you feel you started that right away, or was it probably about a month after you started?
Yes, yeah, for sure, cause I was deep into the budget stuff. I can look back when I really started with the Tyler stuff and let you guys know.
October-ish or September-ish, probably before,
Yeah, probably August.
yeah, I was gonna say, it's probably, okay.
Yeah, for sure. I can look back because I
You would
know
have,
I yeah, end of July, beginning of August, for sure. I would have started by then.
I guess I feel like if that's what we're looking at these funds for, we should look at, you know, we should start it. To be fair to, I wanna make sure we're fair to all department heads, because every department head, new department head puts in extra hours, right?
Yes.
It's just that Christie is putting in excessive
Yeah.
extra hours because of the transition to Tyler that she kind of fell into and this payroll. So I think to be fair, we should look at approximately when she started working on that. And I don't think you started on Tyler immediately.
No, I did not.
Okay.
I did not.
The other thing would be is, okay, when do we stop it? You know, we have to,
I think that, yeah, you and I had briefly discussed that, and I think it's hard to put an end date on it right now, but it will need to be continuously monitored, right? I think when the dust settles with the conversion and we feel like that's all good, I think then that's our sign that it's, you know.
How much new stuff, just like she said, she just found out here a week ago that we gotta do this now.
I visit with
Yeah.
Christie, she's found another layer that has to be
It's
fixed.
hard to put a date on.
It is really hard to put a date on it. I would love to say that she's gonna have it all, you know, everything perfect in a month or two, but then I don't see that.
To be fair to her. Okay.
well, I was gonna say, we'll see in the bills then the overtime that's going on, correct? So we can monitor it that way.
Yeah.
And you can report to us then at the meetings of how things are going, of course, and then we can decide from there.
I
It's
would
hard
say to be fair to her, when she feels comfortable that everything's where we could take over and sort of maintain with little problems, that's about where we stop. Otherwise, you know, you don't wanna stop here and then all of a sudden have more come at you. Get it through so it's comfortable and everything's going smoothly, then we're in good shape.
I told my husband 6 weeks. He says 8 weeks. I say 6 weeks. So I'm hoping middle of January we'll be sitting.
6
So
weeks.
now it's already been 2 weeks
Wow.
since then, so.
Here, I think I said about 3
He's
months
probably
maybe.
right. Yeah, he's probably right.
Because of what came.
I'm being hopeful.
6 weeks at $40 or 6 weeks at 60?
Yeah.
Or 70.
Or 70,
Yeah.
yeah.
Average, so there's weeks that are up at 60 plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know that we need a motion. We're discussing about when to start and when to stop.
Right.
So let's vote, if there's no more discussion, let's vote on paying for the overtime from the ARPA funds. Okay, Christie?
Yes.
Ernie?
Yes.
Danny?
Yeah,
Amy?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Opposed? No, so motion carried. And,
Do you want a motion then for the hiring the UMD student?
yeah,
I think that would be smart.
I think so
Yeah, I think it'd be great to have
too.
it in.
So I move to hire a UMD student from the auditor's budget. Do we have hours or are we just kind of?
I think it would be as much as the student can give us.
Yeah.
So perhaps if we get lucky enough to have them over break, it would perhaps be more, but the internships and working with a student, I think it's kind of hard to set an hour.
Just leave that open.
yeah. Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Jenny? Any more discussion on hiring UND student? Hearing none, Christie?
Yes.
Ernie?
Yes.
Danny?
Yeah.
Amy?
Yes.
Myself, yes, opposed, motion carried. Okay, any more to talk about that?
I don't believe so. I have one other thing though, could I add
Sure.
as an FYI? This is the time of year that we do performance evals, right? I would just give you guys an FYI that I'm gonna roll them out again.
Okay,
And so, we will again have I think we've been sticking with January 31st. Well, some need a lot of reminding to get them done by January 31st, but just an FYI that I'm gonna roll those out again.
and they'll be coming through email again, right? Okay, perfect.
And Karen, can I,
Yes.
do we have some of those? Like, I have not been a part of that yet.
Yeah,
And so your portfolio, you will be doing a performance value on your department heads.
I think I remember an email exchange with you last year because you were brand new, and so the previous portfolio holder, I think, handled the departments that you would have had. So you will, whatever portfolios you each hold as commissioners, if it's an elected official, I still encourage a conversation with them, right? Just a sit down about what you hear good about going on in the office, or maybe not good, or whatever it might be. We don't, of course, necessarily, there was an interesting thread of emails through the HR group in the state as to performance evals for elected officials. You know, I mean, you have no authority over other elected officials, but it doesn't mean you can't have a good candid discussion about things, right? So, so if you have a portfolio with elected officials, I don't necessarily expect a document handed in, but you certainly can, just to record your discussion with them, but.
I don't think, Amy, you have any department heads, do you, in your portfolio? You have like JDA extension.
Oh, yeah,
See, like my water board, I don't, but I'll have to do it for the highway.
And
So I
maybe
maybe
you-
don't have.
you
that.
can-
Probably don't.
Okay, I just wanna make sure I do my.
no, that's, I don't know who all has what, so that's.
Yeah. The one thing I'd like to add is, it looks like that we as commissioners do not conduct a performance evaluation with our department heads that we have.
Yep.
And I've heard comments about that, so I guess I just encourage that we all make sure we do it. The ones that do have department heads, I think I probably have the bulk of the
You have
department heads, you have highway.
Yeah,
I don't know what else I got. You have to look, the highways,
I just
water board. I
have
don't-
state's attorney, but she's elected, but I still will talk to
Yeah,
her.
and
Visit
housing,
with her, yeah.
housing authority don't,
Yeah.
yeah,
right.
highway's the main one.
Yeah, so we have, the format that we've always used, and I'm always open to feedback on that, but the format we've been using is the digital one. Where it's an online survey essentially, and then I can't set it up that you automatically get that completed survey, so I get them all in my portal and I just send them to you when I see them completed, and then you can discuss that document with the individual.
And then we gotta have them signed, right?
Correct, yep, should always be signed, that way it's proof that you've actually had the meeting and discussed it, and then it goes to their file.
And we should review our portfolios before we do the performance
Yeah,
review,
let's-
so that they like somebody takes over second floor, well, that's a lot of department heads, they should be doing the performance eval with me.
Sure,
Yeah, so that they.
Absolutely, yep. Yeah. Later with that. That's all I have for today, I think. You guys have something else for me?
I think so.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thanks for bringing
thanks.
on.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'm gonna.
Okay, Bill,
Will we be doing the portfolio the January meeting? Is that when we?
It's usually the January, right?
First.
Should be the
Well,
first meeting or
but if
sometime second.
Or we don't change them yet then?
oh, portfolio, if you just got yours, I think we should stay for, again, no.
I guess I wouldn't be opposed to being with like Christie with you. I would like to see the process so that the next year that's not handling unexpected to do. And I've never been through it, you know?
No, you
It is pretty easy,
would, because let's say you did get department heads this year in the portfolio, you would sit in with me, I'd conduct it, you would do it the next year.
Okay.
So you wouldn't be left hanging.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to deputy auditor vacancy update.
Yeah, so we hired a gal, her name is Kelsey Street, she's from Tennessee. She moved up here, I believe, 9 months ago or so, she hasn't hit a winter yet. But she brings I'm very, very excited, she brings a lot to the table. She has some payroll experience, accounts payable, accounts receivable. She seems like she's a go-getter. I was really anxious when we offered.
What was your name?
Kelsey Street. She right now is a para at, the Grafton School. So when she gave her notice, they asked her to finish out the school, until Christmas break.
Okay.
And then was planning on going home for, Christmas, so she is starting January 3rd.
Okay.
So it'll be a good new year.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I'm really excited. She seems like her and I will get along really well on tackling the big projects, and, she comes with a lot of experience.
You seem like you're satisfied you delegated some stuff here too.
Absolutely,
Good.
yes, without a doubt, yes, very much so, very much so. So that is covered.
Right.
Yes,
Glad you found someone.
me too.
Yes, yes.
I know if you're talking about positions, I know we were gonna do it this week with Jason and the sick kid. I don't know if we will, but there's 3 that applied for the sign form and 1 internally and 2 out. And we were planning on having maybe Thursday and Friday, but I don't know that was gonna go that way now. Just because of his kid sick and stuff, how long that'll be, so
Okay,
we'll see what happens there.
sure. Okay, is there any more business that we haven't?
I had an ad for just an.
Oh,
update for
and you
guys.
had, yes, for extension.
Yes, so I think Denny, you had requested this, so maybe a while ago, but we did have that advisory council, the Walsh County Advisory 4-H Council. Katie reestablished that. There were 6 members, her goal is 12. But just, we had that meeting on November 27th. So that's, kind of reestablished to go through the extension programs, be able to kind of give some input on what they're doing and just kind of to have a little bit of oversight there. So they seem to be doing well. We have interviews on December 22nd for the extension agent. So we have 1,
Finally.
maybe 2, yeah, it is finally 2 potential candidates to interview on Friday, the 22nd of December. So that part of it, and then we had a fair association meeting last night, and they sold 677 tickets to the rodeo that they had at the fair. So they were happy. Brad became president of the Heartland Fair Association for 2 more years. So he said there goes retirement, but people had very good comments about the fair and family atmosphere, and yeah, they're talking about a rodeo or maybe a concert next year. They're not sure in terms of entertainment, but so that's all I have.
Okay,
Was there any more discussion about the building?
So, they had someone that was a structural engineer, just not anything on record, but that he kind of made the comment that he's seen worse. So that they were kind of talking about looking at rafters and potentially reevaluating that in the spring and seeing that there could be some work just because of the cost of what has come out and the realistic expectation of how many new buildings you can put in Park River, what makes sense, what can be accomplished that way. So I think everyone is still just like, let's just keep talking and try to figure this part of it out.
The trouble with that building is, you'd like to see it keep going and everything else, but how many months of the year do we really use that building? And that's the trouble. You use it for the fair, and if you took the hockey out of there, it's usually 1 month maybe.
Yeah.
Cold storage, and I brought that up too, you know, I know as a hockey parent how much money they pay almost as much money for that building as they do for the Centennial Center in Grafton, when you think about it, and that's a very different. How old you're talking about building of what it's keeping, but it's also how much does it cost to build a new building, and when you're in these small towns, no one wants to lose. Sports activities for their kids in Park River, and you talk about skaters, it's not just hockey, the figure skaters too. And they want this community center and they wanna build something with it, but $24 million, Park River, I mean, it just,
So many dollars for discretional use.
Yeah.
yeah, it just doesn't work, so I think everyone is still kind of just like, let's just. Reevaluate come spring, see where we're at and. Figure pieces out that way.
You know, I've said it for years, and I said there's some way, even us as a county, you've gotta think of a county-wide sales tax. You look at what Fargo's doing today. 7.5%, they're upping up the lodging by 3, in the Stickets, another 1/4%. And that's, everybody coming out of town is gonna pay for that addition to it passes.
Yeah.
Do they need it? I think maybe they do. As Fargo's growing and they need someplace for conventions. If you look around Fargo, there ain't much place to have a convention or anything like the Alaris in town. So it'd be interesting to see how their vote comes, but.
We just don't have that many outside dollars coming into this community.
Yeah.
And the sales tax, in my opinion, targets the wrong population.
Well, it is,
Young
but yeah,
population, the ones that are raising the kids and buying the diapers and shopping locally. And
But then they're still gonna be here too, I
Yeah.
mean,
I hear where you're going with sales tax.
we all.
I just think it targets the wrong.
not if they come here and shop and drive through our county.
But they're
How many
working
people do
really,
that, though?
Huh?
How many people do that?
Well, there's a lot of transportation in and out of this county.
How many people do we have working in the courthouse that don't live in this county?
Yeah.
Fill up gas here. You know, I mean, I think there's more than
Yeah,
they
they do,
Yeah, you bet there is.
we have a
I mean,
lot more that come here.
then go off.
yes,
Yep.
That,
And
you
go on.
know, that live here and I mean, we have a lot more people that are in, and then they're looking for hospitality, Frostfire and a lot of these tourism things. And we just have to remember that could stop here. I mean, if we.
or live here, we had.
Central place, and I brought up to several people, the Grand Sky, the movement with the Department of Defense and moving more towards unmanned air.
Yep,
230 jobs right now, 800 in 5 years. These communities, we need to want to be part of that. We need to want that. Those are the big places that can put in infrastructure, that want housing for their employees, but then our citizens could benefit from that. You know, when people have to pay for plumbing and streets and it makes it impossible to want to be able to build. So it's kind of piggybacking off of.
But we need housing for them,
Yeah.
but now it sounds like that epic project
Yeah,
fell through.
Let's go.
That's a done deal. Well, I mean,
I don't, is it done?
Yes, it's done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not enough
That's-
investors.
Oh, it's just, that's terrible.
And that's the
news.
trouble when we're, and I hate to say it, as a county, we sort of become stagnant. So do investors want to come in here and invest?
Mhm.
How do we send a message to them? I don't know.
Yeah,
But I know this Grand Sky, what they wanna do, he said, we want communities, and I've talked to a few leaders, they're like, well, no one's contacted us, and like, you have to be eager to say, how can we partner with you?
yes.
We are between here and when you talk about Airbnb,
Yep,
Park River, Grafton, we are all a part of that. So to think that we couldn't have growth from what they're doing is not true, but we have to be eager, we can't be settling for
Yep.
just here, we have to wanna go here, so.
yeah,
You just look in this county and my housing's gone up. Just look at the South Africans and everybody coming in here, South America, whatever, coming to work.
yeah,
Look at the housing that they're taking.
they're
And
buying
they're
it
trying to
up.
find it. I mean, it's,
Yeah,
and it's
you
gonna
can't
get
find
only,
it for 'em.
huh?
You can't find it.
Well, that's what I mean. It's only gonna get bigger and bigger because they got nowhere to go.
And that's the farmers that are trying to get for most of them unless they move here and
Yes.
and that's been a positive thing in my opinion as far as people coming here, but. I talked to the Chodo, that's the housing development organization. And she said the real estate market is so upside down around here right now. People, it's the seller's market.
Yep.
You don't have the housing, and when people are paying double, well, what happened in Fortville? I heard about how much someone paid for a house in Fortville, and it's like when they're paying double, triple the value, now you're in this state of who can afford to.
Affordable, it's a bedroom community. A lot of that too, that's.
Yep.
And Grafton.
Yep. And it's great that it is.
But adding a
Not
sales
every,
tax on the Walsh County, is that gonna help that?
well, We go to Grand Forks and I don't buy much in Grand Forks, only what I can't get here, but I bought a couple things yesterday and,
I don't know.
you know, you got the, and I'm like, what? I just had two things. How did this add up?
It's
You know,
scary if you spend $200 and look at the tax.
It was, you know, so, but we can't get everything here and the more people we can get to move in, I would rather pay tax in Walsh County and have it go for something than have to go to Grand Forks and pay the tax there.
Only we had a rainy day fund we could fall back on.
So, well, who's gonna get a rainy day fund? You know what I mean?
I know it,
I
but
know.
you know, when you look at the amount of money that's sitting in the state coffers, that's just,
I know, but look at the money we spend that shouldn't be spent on too. There was a lot of money spent in the legislature this year that was,
Yeah, but is that, I don't know how I say it, because of the people's perks and they want.
oh, totally,
Yeah.
totally,
that
Ernie.
was wrong.
It's, you know,
Cause I'm from Fargo and I want this, I'll get everybody to back. me,
well,
I'll get the state what I need.
in any little, not any, but a lot of different things that come up that people need money for. I mean, I wish that we could get money for the jail and still be locally controlled, because a jail is one of the most important things. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, they're gonna try to get money for the airport in Fargo. And I know airports are important, but you know, you spend millions there. Why can't we get any money for something we really need? And I don't, you know,
What's more important, an airport or a jail?
yeah, and I mean, we still can, we maybe can get money, I don't know, but,
if you were to take $1 billion, cause I don't know how many billion the state is sitting on. And when you put all of these funds together, you take $1 billion and divide it out between the 53
but
counties.
we're
Maybe there's a
sitting
lot
on
of
money, yeah, we're sitting on money that is also allocated for certain things. It can only be used for certain things too, so. And I, you know, I'm not on appropriation, so I don't know exactly all of that stuff. But then remember, with term limits, it's gonna be interesting how money is divided out now. The lobbyists are gonna be so busy
Yep.
getting money for certain things. And there's gonna be people on appropriations that, I mean, I don't wanna be on appropriations because I'm not good at that. You know, but there's gonna be a lot of people coming for money with new legislators and, so it's gonna
First
be
thing you need in
interesting.
any civilized country is law and order.
Yeah,
And that's the jail.
exactly.
Protect your
Yep,
citizens.
It's interesting to me though, the people that say, why, they don't need anything special, why do we need a new jail? And it's just like, you can't just keep people in something that, like, I brought up, it's, how old is the jail? You know, the nursing home, no different, 50 years old, and people live in these, and you have, it's just wear and tear, that you can't just say, oh yeah, just throw them in any, I mean,
Yeah.
it's that understanding of like, well, why should we spend money on that?
Yeah.
It's not something we want to, we need to, we have to keep these buildings.
You have to have a sewer system, a toilet that.
Yeah, sure.
well,
How much more money do you stick in an old vehicle?
yes, yeah,
Basically there, we open up that, to do that base of the cast iron, then we're gonna get
Yeah.
grandfathered in and have to do everything, and we're gonna be still spending a lot.
yeah,
more money.
it is, and people don't understand why, but they just say stuff, well, but don't come to the
Right.
people and ask.
I have a citizen up there that called the governor's office about this jail, the sewer system. Well, he was told, all I have to do is replace the sewer system and they're good to go.
Yeah, well, who
And
did
that
he
came
talk
from a
to?
state official.
Yeah, who did he talk to?
I don't know, it's like, so then I had to explain about being grandfathered in on, well, that
Right,
didn't make any sense to him.
Yeah, right.
that's why we need the marketing and,
Yeah.
Well, absolutely, but
get
when
that,
that came right from the,
yeah, I know.
Well, they don't know the whole story.
Well, I know,
They should
but-
say, I don't know the whole story.
they
and-
should have directed them to the Department of Corrections.
I look at, I look at this jail and it's gonna be, when it comes to a vote, it's gonna be our responsibility, commissioners, to
Absolutely.
inform the public, and I keep mentioning, I
Yeah.
go back to when we did that soil conservation. The first year it got defeated, 2 years later, we sent it back, and we sat in the corner in that Holiday Inn, or wherever it was.
And you bought their votes.
And, well, we bought them a drink and we sat them down.
Yeah, we need to, let's just stop here now because we're discussing things that are on the agenda and stuff. So, if there's no more business before the commission, this meeting is adjourned.